Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy, I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Wardogs.
And Calvin.
Coach of Goinator.
Boys, the time has come. The Community Series is over.
Yep.
That's the last bit of real footy we'll see from some of the teams.
That's right.
As we head into, obviously, heading towards round one, but round zero on the horizon.
It is. It's all happening. So we have had the 9 Community Series games. If you haven't already, go and check out Calvin's article on afl.com.au. You wrap it up pretty well, I reckon.
You don't even need this podcast,
nice
to be
words
honest.
there. Your lock and loads, your surprise packets, the roll, the bargain watch, everything.
I couldn't think of something funny for the roll.
You've really eased into the season well. So your pre-season started slow. You weren't offering much.
And I never do.
You are peaking at the right time.
We talked about it the other day. My eye is elite at the moment. I'm just seeing it.
You are on.
I am on.
Well, you call them posters at games.
That's it.
That was good. That's when I knew it was real.
Yeah.
You are really in for a good season.
We had a lot of fun on Saturday night. Thanks to everyone that tuned into that. Very, very exciting calling
It was
that
good,
Hawthorn
wasn't it?
and Western Bulldogs game. You can catch the replay of that within the podcast feed if you want to go and relive any of those moments.
We stayed on track most of the time.
We did.
It was good. It was good. Yes, we do have an opening round coming up. We'll give a bit of a preview of that later in the week as a podcast. So what to watch, what things that we are going to be keeping an eye on as we build our teams for round one. So remember, you can play your fantasy at fantasy.afl.com.au or by downloading the app. It all does start in round one. So just remember, you get ready for that Thursday night game, the Blues and the Tigers.
Oh,
Roy.
how exciting.
But we do have the opening round, which is exciting. Another
It is.
look at footy.
Are we back on that, are we? We like it again.
An amazing preview, Swingers
It
round.
is.
Yes, it is.
And that is when our tipping will start as well. So if you haven't got your tipping organised, tipping.afl.com.au, there is the app for that as well. Make sure you've got your leagues all set up for that, your work comps, all ready to rock and roll.
Are you getting your tips out this year, dog?
Dominating again. Actually, I had a very, very good year last year, so fingers crossed.
Good work. I know you're a great tipper.
Can dominate once again and take some money off people at work. They just go around recruiting everyone to go, no, I don't like footy. Doesn't matter.
Got to be part of
Donate
it.
your $50
It's a
to me.
social thing.
All right, let's get into our review of this.
Okay. So much.
Oh, yeah.
Johnson timed it well. Dacos, you'd think he would from there, and he doesn't disappoint.
Dacos.
He didn't disappoint.
No, he's good. He's a very good player. 75 points he had from 57% time on ground. If you're starting with him, you don't have any issues.
No issues.
No, you don't.
And he's
You
got
do
new,
the fact that he's got to buy, but
he's got new wheels. He's got new shoes.
Yeah.
And they look amazing out there. Brownlow boots, I call them.
Hey,
Right.
he could wear work boots out there.
Of course
and
he
make them look
could.
Good.
This
He was
game
great.
felt like a long time ago because it was last Tuesday. So we saw Collingwood rack up plenty of points, and that was at the top with Paddy Lipinski, Cow.
Yeah.
Would you consider him?
You could if you were very desperate. Draft, definitely.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's listed as a forward.
Yeah.
Kicked 2 goals, 8 marks, sort of just really nice outside there being looked for, and that might have almost been a bit of a byproduct of playing against the Tigers too. Like they sort of did control the game a fair bit. Like Will Hoskin Elliott, he had a 106 as well. 12 marks for him. Marks were coming in this game. Maynard had 10 of them. Mason Cox had 10. Yeah.
Asterix.
Asterix.
Asterix game officially.
Other things that I guess we got out of that, I think Jordan Agoe, who was great in that Pracky game the last week, the match sim, he was good again, and he would be a nice draft one.
Yeah, for
to be
sure.
snagging at sort of the price point that he is. But out of the pies, are we really picking anyone? Because I think we're crossing off a name.
We're crossing off Finlay McRae. Yeah, he didn't play until the second half, which was a massive concern. So he came on. He did all right. He had his 10 touches, 28 points, but we need to cross him
Just
off.
don't think he's in the best 22. The big name, obviously, is Dacos, and whether you take on his buy or not. 50% of the competition are still doing it.
Yeah, and fair
Does
enough.
that scare you? As
Yeah,
people
big
that
time.
aren't
Because
going to do it?
he's a top 3 player in the comp.
100%.
And I'm not starting with him.
Yep.
And they get a lot of footy before he misses. Worries me.
As for Richmond, geez, they're going to have a long year, I reckon.
Short's got that role, so
He
that's
does.
important to know. Like he is playing that halfback role, and he'll be good. Again, a draft sort of player that you can be thinking about.
Yeah, Liam Baker was solid enough for you.
Yeah.
71.
Yeah, he was. The thing is with these guys, with the Pies and someone as good as Dacos, the consideration is still there despite the bye. With the Tigers, no one is even a consideration given that they miss a week as well.
Thompson Dow got us a little bit of idea about him, 57. Handball happy.
Very handball
4
happy.
kicks, 16 handballs for him. Naismith would have been an option if he ended up being super, super cheap, but because he'll be there for the start of the season. It sounds like Nank will be out for a bit.
Yeah.
Gibcus got through the game, 81% time on ground.
29, but I think we've got some other options now in defence.
We do.
Yeah, a few people have put their hand up.
Yeah. We'll talk more about both of these teams, as we will with these next couple of games after the opening round, because that's where we will see a little bit more.
We get to see them again, though.
Yeah,
swingers round.
So that's what we get from them.
Down Viney. Here's Windsor's speed again. Can he steady and finish? Oh, he's showing a bit, this youngster. He'll be playing in opening round.
That's what we want to hear. He'll be playing in opening round. So that is Caleb Windsor. So if we start there for the Ds, it was solid. He kicked a couple of goals. 46 points, though. It might be just that. It's enough to start with to go, can't start him on the ground. He's got to be on the bench. But at that price, it's starting to get up there a little bit with 282K.
It is.
But job security is your first prerequisite for a
I think so, yeah. So 46 at 66% time on ground. When I read 66% time on ground, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
You add to it in a real game because they played what did they play? They played quite a few players in these games.
Yeah. You'd think he'd be a 70-75% to start with.
Okay.
As a rookie.
The big story out of Melbourne, though, was Max Gawn, boys. Go on. Talk about him.
Well, he's back in, right?
100%
He has to be.
So Max absolutely dominated that game. He was just everywhere. I think all the things that you love about Max. He kicked 2 goals to go with his 30 hit-outs, but, 14 kicks, 10 handballs, 5 marks, 2 tackles. He was in, mid-season form of just going, I'm the best ruck in the competition.
100%.
Don't you forget about it.
Yeah. No, he was finally given the reins again and certainly made the most of it.
Did it in 74% game time.
So he's up against TDK and Pitnet.
He ended Pitto's career in a preseason game.
Yeah, he did.
People don't often do that, but Max did it to him. Pitto's not an easy guy to score against, as silly as it sounds, except for Max.
So with Max, he plays Grundy in the opening round, and then the week after, in round 1, he is legit captain material against Tim English.
Who gives up
the most.
plenty.
He gives up heaps.
Oh, boy.
So there you go.
Bit of midfield watch there was Christian Salem. He was in there.
He was. He had the most.
He turned up. Yeah, he did.
He had the most out of the
most CBAs.
That's interesting.
23 touches for him. The 9 tackles is what really obviously helped him get to that ton. We have heard, though, that Clary will be playing opening round now. So that is, a lock, I guess.
So I got my eye on
he's going to be in
you
there.
You do. You were all over
Called
that.
it months ago.
So Salem, though, I still think he's probably right in the mix, though.
Well, you don't go from the number 1 man in the last preseason game to none, do you? Surely.
No. It's just obviously got defender status, a really good one for draft.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
Be, monitoring and thinking about. Billings scored an 81.
He did.
That's worth a little bit of a look there as one of your forwards, do you think, at 538K?
Well, it certainly makes you have a look.
It does.
He was very comfortable out there. I think it's fair to say he's underpriced, but is he underpriced enough? I don't think so. I think he's just going to miss out, to be honest.
Bailey Laurie, dog.
Yeah, so 200K forward there. You can pick him up. 56 points. I think job security's, better than what it was.
Agreed.
So he's got to be a chance to be playing if you're looking for that 200K as your F8.
Yeah, if you want to shave, that 70, 80K off one of those guys, he's the guy that could do it for you.
Yes, true.
Yeah, what about the Blues then? Jeez, Premiership favourite Blues got beaten by.
They didn't even just get beaten, dog. They got smacked.
And you know what? That's a reflection of being premiership favourites. You just don't even worry about these games. No, they did.
Harry and Jalla kicked 3 goals each.
To be honest.
That's got to be a positive. Now, a couple of things that I noted out of this was Doc spent a bit of time behind the ball.
Yeah.
So he still had some CBAs in there and was playing the midfield role, but he was drifting back a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly was. I saw that as well, Dog. So DPP could be back in play come round 6. Remember, there's no Zach Williams, and
Yeah.
you look how quickly their team dropped off talent-wise. It would not surprise me now at all for Z Will to be thrown straight in there, for their first game.
Blue boys that we are looking at, probably Williams is the only one, and obviously we didn't get to see them, but have we put a line through Orazio Fantasia? Have you got over that one yet, Roy, that's not going to be an option for us?
Well, look, 22 from 82% time on ground. It's nothing to write home about.
No.
But it's a guy who's averaged over 70 before, people.
I've heard this.
Okay,
Can you
Dog.
do it, please?
No, we're not. Yeah,
We're not
line
doing it.
through.
Right, okay.
I apologise, but it's been a long pre-season.
It's been a
and
long pre-season.
You've got to mention lots of different names. Otherwise, you just keep talking about the same old people.
That's right.
And lock in Binsey in your VFL fantasy team, because I tell you what, he's going to have another 120 averaged in there,
He
I
is.
reckon, this
He
year.
is. He could pop his head in at some stage.
But again, these two teams, we get to see them.
We certainly do.
Again.
Playing in front, they want to keep it moving. Zorko on the fly, lets it go, and kicks the goal. Quick start for the Lions.
Get some Zork on your fork, Roy. You kept him in your
I did.
keeper league in the end, didn't you?
Oh, look, he's hanging by a thread every year, but due to the lack of forwards, and I lost like 3 or 4 of my forwards to the midfield in keeper, so Zorko, yep, he's in again, and he's a sub-candidate, but yeah, I had to keep him
Get
going.
2 goals, 97 points.
I know, it's very good. He's one of the best forwards to have in
69%
draft
of
at
the
the
time.
moment.
Let's talk about Errol, though. 133. He was the highest scorer of the AAMI Community Series. Just like he did his 177 last year, Cal.
Okay, and
now, actually, let's have a look at where your head's at with this, because
Okay.
you didn't start him last year, even after that 177.
I'm righting my wrongs this year.
Are you?
I think I'm doing it.
What? Starting
Yeah.
Errol?
I think I'm
Who's
doing
got to
it.
buy?
Yeah. I think he could be over 120
Yeah.
leading into his bye.
Do you know what? I am not even going to call you out on this. If you're going to take on anyone with the bye,
Yep.
I think he's the one to do it.
What
Now-
are the numbers?
Now, you've had a look at his opponents, Roy.
Oh, this makes me sick.
So he averages 143.5
43.5. Let's round it up.
to 144. Now, I'm not expecting
you
that.
should.
I'm not
Because
expecting
0.5 you round up,
144.
mate.
Do you know what? I semi-am.
Yep. Now, yeah, he could easily do
That's
it.
where I'm at with this guy.
Got to remember, he did this in 78% game time. 9 tackles.
Yeah.
He just cruised around out there.
He's doing everything right.
Mix
but
of wing and CBA.
Mix of wing and
In
CBA.
and out.
his thirst, I haven't seen a
Yes.
thirst like this since the likes of Swanee,
Yep.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yep.
Now, I mean, Goulden has elite skills and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong. But the thirst, that pig-type thirst that comes with his game.
7 marks. Yep.
Look, he does everything. What's the go? Like, you obviously, if you're coming up to play the Swans,
Yes.
you would think, I'm tagging that.
So-
you can't let him run around
Well,
doing
this is the
everything.
thing, though. They're in a bit of trouble with their cattle.
They are.
So we had Luke Parker out with that broken arm. He'll miss a month or so. And it sounds like now that Taylor Adams will be about a month
Right.
as well.
And
And
what
Mills is
did
already
I
after that
say,
knee.
boys? What did I say?
You are a sicko.
No.
You should
Never
not.
seen someone enjoy
No, I
someone's
didn't
misfortune
enjoy it
like
at all.
you.
I just said, I've got an eye for this, Roy.
Oh, yes, you're
It's
right.
like I can see the future. And I said
You
it
can
all
zap it.
pre-season. You guys are lucky that this didn't
What are you,
happen.
bulimic?
You can zap injuries upon people
You
with your eye.
guys are
This eye
lucky
you've
that
got.
this did not happen when the real thing started.
Oh, I wasn't going to start him then.
No,
Not
right,
pre-season, mate. Had
Yeah,
to
right.
talk about different people.
That's right.
The other big one there that is a beneficiary of Adams and Parker would have to be James Jordan. Now, we're all very hot on him all pre-season anyway because he's getting rid of that substitute vest and he is going to be a wingman, but he might be a wingman with a few little
Now-
sprinklings of centre bounce
Now,
tendencies.
Yes, definitely.
He was a pod of mine. Okay. He was. And now he's gone 119. Everyone's going to have him, Roy.
You got to hate that, don't
Oh,
you?
it makes me wild.
Massive. 31 disposals, 9 marks, 3 tackles. He did a lot of great stuff there. Like had the contested possessions as well. So
Yeah.
he looked really good.
Melbourne could
It's-
do with him.
It's just a pretty. It's just a lock without even thinking about that.
Yep.
Yep.
Despite the fact that they do have the early buy, but that's where we can get these guys.
Yeah. At his price point, it just
Yeah.
doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't matter.
That pie.
That's it. Who else do we
Matt
have?
Roberts
in this?
was
Matt
good.
Roberts,
He
yeah,
was good.
65 points he had, so he had 18 disposals
Yeah,
there.
half-back roll, and he actually got off to quite a slow start. So, yeah, he'll be good.
Brodie Grundy Now, so this is the thing. A lot of people have wiped him out of their teams and said goodbye. Yeah. He scored 51, 60% time on ground. Now, you've wiped him out of your team, Calvin.
Now, Frico did defend him and said, look, they played 5 talls.
Yeah, exactly.
2 rucks.
Well, and Laddams is not playing round 1.
No, you wouldn't think so.
I'll tell you what, the commentators talked up Laddams' efforts.
Oh, Laddams outscored him, mate. Laddams had a day out. The problem with Grundy that I did not like, 9 disposals.
Yeah.
9 disposals, 3 kicks. I questioned his thirst.
Yeah.
Does he need to?
Yes.
He need to
looked like he
pre-season?
was way too hydrated before the game because he had no thirst.
He approached this game like he'd been at the club for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just rolling out, going through the motions. No, mate, you need to turn up and impress us fantasy coaches.
Yeah.
Nah.
So
He'll be right. I think this time next week you're going to swing right back around again because he's going to have a great round 0.
Doesn't sound like something we do, dog.
Over half of his points were hit-outs. He just didn't look hungry enough.
No.
When you've got other people like Maximus who are hungry as, I don't know. He's not in for me at the moment.
Max went out dehydrated.
He did.
Ridiculous thirst out there. No, I don't know. I'm concerned about it because obviously he's coming up against, he's going head-to-head with Xeri for a lot of people now who we'll talk about a little bit later. But it's 100K and a buy that Grundy's got hanging on him as well. And he has to convince people.
A lot will have to come down to what he scores in the opening round because that gets put into their price changes as well.
And
so
how hungry he looks out there.
What about Brisbane then? We did talk Zorko, but Hugh McCluggage, 131. Now,
Dog loves
somebody's been talking about him.
You've been hot on him. I think you should pick him.
Yeah. 31. Got a bye, mate, in round 2, so can't do that. So 31 disposals, 9 marks, 4 tackles, and a goal. Just was beautiful at what he does. He's just a gun. I've liked him for draft is where that sits for that. But then again, those points were there last year and all because Ashcroft was out. So you've got that to think about when he gets in the back half of the season. So although in saying that, a big believer of people win their spots and win their role to remain in that because if that's working.
Yeah. Ashcroft isn't going to go straight back into the ones.
You wouldn't think so.
They'll ease him back in.
Dunkley was pretty good
too.
So
he should be.
Limited time, 69,
Yeah. Kitty Coleman did enough.
Yeah, he did. 10 marks.
I'm starting with him at the moment.
They were looking to find
him.
him. They were looking for him everywhere.
I think he...
So you don't have Z-Will now. Is he kind of in for Z-Will?
Yes,
because you couldn't do both of them, could you?
I don't
with
think
the same
so.
buy.
I don't think so, especially because it's so early. So at the moment, he's sitting in my team just because at that price...
See, price is 69,
and his role and ability, I just think it's a little bit too good for me to ignore. And, he can be covered that first buy.
Kyle Oman was good, dog.
Yeah, 77. I like him a lot, but I really think he's right in the mix to be the sub. So
massive
That's
risk.
the worry, isn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't go into it with him confident that he's not going to be the sub.
You can just see Zorko off, Loman on.
Oh, yeah.
Can't you?
Yep.
Loman pushed back as well watching that game. Like, there's a lot of nice things that he did during that game. So, he's there. I guess that's the hard thing about, again, these two teams. They have swingers around.
That's the thing with him. If he avoids the vest and plays that role he did in the community series,
in the mix.
He's in the mix, isn't he?
Has to be. That's probably enough that we've got there from them. Tunstall, obviously a rookie price player too. He wasn't too bad, was he?
No.
He had a 46. But yeah. I think that's enough that we can say for them before we look at them again coming up.
There's Toby Green with the stab at a goal. He's been a live wire tonight.
He's been a live wire. Old Toby
That was
Green.
I can't wait till we get some real commentary through this, dog.
Rightio, GWS and Gold Coast there. GWS did sort of make Gold Coast not look as good, but we'll talk about Gold Coast. Who did look good? I'm bringing sexy back.
Bloody oath.
Oh. See, this is another pod. It's another pod I had.
I tell you what, when we first brought it up,
there might be some receipts.
A lot
didn't
of
it ever?
crap. Receipts, dog, you are spot on because, man, oh, man, called out like sitting on your pedestals.
Yep.
Have a look what Sexy's doing, and I bet you all own him now.
31 possessions.
Ownership has gone
11 marks.
Eat that.
115 points. Game high, Roy. If they were giving Brownlow votes,
Yes.
Guess what? Sexy 3.
In a flogging.
Gone up a heap in the last week or so, ownership. So
Has to.
It's just
He's an absolute gift.
him and James Jordan are the two most changed.
Oh, see.
All those pods that we had.
I hate when this happens. Took was good, 109.
Yeah.
He was back to doing Took things. That was good to see. What do you have there? 33.
So that midfield
touches.
makeup, though, is going to be interesting because we didn't probably see enough CBAs from Sam Flanders, and that 57 from 83% time on ground. Where you thinking?
Look, he was in my team leading into this game, and I was ready to take that buy on with a player like him. I thought he was easily going to be 10 points clear of the next best.
And he still could be.
He could be, but I'm glad we get one more look at him because that was not good to look at.
No, it didn't sit well having him at that price.
Because they're 3 bananas.
When there's a few players
with a buy as well.
Yeah, with a buy. When there's guys a few $100,000 cheaper doing more.
Their 3 bananas are obviously Took, Anderson, and also the GOAT man, Matt Rowell.
Yeah.
But
no, it's a worry. It's certainly one to watch.
That was the thing, though. Like, he doesn't need CBAs to score.
But look at them.
But I think
they did nothing. They just did nothing.
We needed them, though, to be that improving pick that we think that he could be.
Yeah.
But he wasn't even in their top 10 scorers.
No. I think he's going to be obviously a lot better than that, but I'm glad we get another look at him.
Agree.
For the Gold Coast, we're probably crossing off another name there of one of our rookies. That's Bodie Ewell. He scored 32 in 24% time on ground, so going at a decent clip. But, yeah, he's probably not in there. 22,
Looks like it.
And that's what we're all about with any of these guys as well. For GWS, we'd all love to be starting with Tom Green. He's just an absolute machine, as we know. 31 touches for him, so probably a quiet day for the old Green machine. Toby Green machine kicked 3 goals, 3 actually, and he scored a 96. So we're not touching him in Classic, but I reckon in draft, he's like that 85 that you can...
TG.
Yeah,
100%. He's just an absolute jet.
Any other GWS players we're actually considering for our teams? Probably no premiums, but in the rookies.
There's a few rooks.
Harvey Thomas.
Yep. He had, was at a 66.
200K.
Yep. Josh Fay, 69.
Now, the issue with some of these guys is that they do have a few out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they could be back within those first couple of weeks as well. So
Missing that game was Lockie Ash, Isaac Cumming, my mate Finn Callahan, Harry Perryman didn't play, and also Darcy Jones didn't play, who was out with tonsillitis.
Oh, really?
Sore throat.
Had an unlucky start.
Yeah, I'd like to think that Harvey Thomas, because it looked like he can play, because he had 6 tackles in that as well. So he can build his scores with that, although he is sort of,
And he was good in the other match sim game a couple of weeks before
as well. If they come out and have a big one, we'll get him in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Aaron Cabin had 59.
Yeah, he was good.
But there's now just a lot of forwards where he just might be one of those ones where if we were beggars, we couldn't choose, but now we can choose.
We can by the look of it.
What's the opposite to a rookie crisis, dog?
Well, it's still a rookie crisis in some other spots.
It is.
Not in the forward line.
There's a forward flood.
Who would have thought the forwards we just got too
But it's
many.
where we want them because we can
I know.
play them all because we're not happy with who if this was last year,
amazing,
it would be a crisis of who to pick.
Yeah.
Because we were
Like
going
literally
5
filling
big
the
premiums
spots.
and then
Yeah.
who is going to... now we're going, no, you can play on field. You can play on
play.
field.
100%.
You can all play on field there. All right, let's get into the next game, which I think we start seeing some teams that actually don't play the
opening round.
Set up from Durham for Nick Martin. It's on target. And there was no fingertips on that. So a couple of quick goals for the Bombers.
Shh, Nick Martin, don't tell anyone about him.
Roy, take it away.
Oh, look, well, I'm here to help, and there'd be no one questioning how much I have helped this pre-season because I introduced a lot of people to Nick Martin, who is clogging up a midfield spot, was some of the feedback received. But, Dog, even you may have come around on this one because you've been my biggest criticiser of your... I tried to bloody embrace a bomber for a start. Yeah. Nick Martin was the one I did it with. Still come back with heat.
Oh, he could be on a wing.
What do you think now?
I just disagreed with your 105 projection.
That's fair.
because 115 is probably more like it now. So he had a 120, kicked 2 goals. He's got a tank. He runs.
Oh, yes.
And,
I remember seeing that.
he will be getting defender status because I want to see all those starting positions. He should be fine with that because he's down there a lot.
Yep.
But
11
if
marks
he's floating
is what
on
I
a wing
like.
to do it, might be the issue with that. But 11 marks, he's going to be used, and they did use him. He had kick-in, sorry.
See, this is what I said. Built for the role he is because he has a thirst for uncontested marks. And look at that. He racked up 11.
Essendon racked up though, dog. They even though they lost this spot, they lost by a couple of goals to Geelong. But of the 8 top scorers, they had 7.
Bombers had they were the 4th highest scoring team of the weekend. Of the
So this isn't going to happen every week, is
and
it?
defenders do it. Well, they did.
don't
Defenders combined for a heap last year.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the thing. Now, one of the issues out of this game for the Bombers is that Ridley's out. So I liked the setup there. When you had Ridley, Red Dog, Reed, Mackay, like, it's going to help blokes like Martin. It's going to help blokes like even Andy McGrath.
Don't talk about him.
Why does he do
I
this?
don't know.
31 touches.
He can't play the real thing, mate.
You don't have an eye
Once
for
it turns up, he's great at this notch. Turn it up one more.
Leave it to the
It's
experts.
too quick for him.
Good one on Nick Martin here. So I just had a quick look at the scale, Roy.
Yes.
So
Stop it.
There are 3 easy teams, mega easy teams, and Essendon's one of them. So so there's 2 left.
Yeah.
He plays both of them. So St Kilda and Bulldogs within the first 5 weeks.
Come on.
Big scores
Come
coming.
on. How are you on this? Because you've had to listen to the bickering over
You're
here.
right. I've sat pretty quiet on it.
You have.
I'm not on board at the moment.
Yes.
But I'm a massive believer that he goes 100.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So, not on board at the moment.
So you're well below our projections.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So,
Snooze fest over here with Cow.
yeah.
You ripped me ear off. No, it's all right, mate.
What else did we see from the Bombers there, dog? I think Elijah Sardis was good, 85.
Oh, yeah. So he's got to be
He's
a consideration in the 400s.
Another cheap forward to chuck in there as
Well,
well.
that's the thing. He needs to be spoken about because a lot of us are running with, Fife types at that price.
Yep.
What's his role? Is he the real deal? Is he ready to go?
So he played 4 games last year.
Yeah.
Injured at the start of the season.
Yep.
Came in the VFL, dominated the VFL, had some big numbers
So
there.
92 in the VFL from 7 games
He had an
last year.
85 in one of his games that he played last year.
Yeah.
He did. Is that what we can expect?
So he's ready to go bang.
Bang, define bang, but at 400, if he can go 80, that's a massive win.
Yeah. And can he? Is the role there?
So he's not a centre bounce dude, although he did get some last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But didn't have any on the weekend.
Look, he's priced at 53.
Yeah.
So
If he turns that to 75, then that's a win.
that's a win.
And in a forward line where this is where we want to shop, I think.
You're
These sort of
actually
prices.
you're selling him to me here. Like I am really heating
He
up
had
to
24 touches.
Yeah.
Like,
this. It's impressive.
Are you selling him?
he's on my watch list. I haven't locked him or anything like that. He's not currently in my side.
See, I'd
but-
like to get another look at him, Roy. Can he get?
Well, you can actually watch the replay.
Okay, I won't do that. Zach Reid was good. So he's locked into our benches back there, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's probably one of the job security's one part of it, but also he actually surprised me a little bit because he was able to take 7 marks, and that's the Bombers' back line. That's the style, and probably that Ridley injury. So that quad, it sounds like it's about a month worth or so.
Right.
At least he gets that start. He can start getting some cash generation going for us on the bench. You're not playing on field, but as a bench player, because what is he, 250?
Look,
253k exactly.
Yeah,
out of all
that, wouldn't you?
all the Bombers, he played the most game time.
Yeah.
92%.
They're playing him. He's there, and that's what that backline setup's
Oh,
going to be
well,
like.
he's
I
in
think.
then. Yep.
It's probably enough Essendon talking it.
Oh, well, I
keep
could end up
going.
with 3 Bombers at this
Oh,
point.
you're a sicko.
Well, DP3 was good. Merritt was good.
They did
Yeah,
enough,
I'm
didn't
not
they?
going to those old boys, though.
DP3's not an old boy. I tell you what, he is one that I won't pick, but I will not be surprised if he ends up being a top 8. That could be one of the surprise packets if you're going to put that in a column.
Well, you could. The other thing here is there's fear around the old Finn McGuinness tag coming in round 1. I don't think Finn makes the cut.
No.
So
he might go to Martin instead.
But even if
possibly
he's
he
not.
Could. I know.
He plays that role sometimes.
Yeah,
yes,
he
would.
does.
So
that worries me.
He doesn't make the cut.
No, he doesn't.
Now, Geelong had a halfback in Max Holmes who did all right. He went off at the end with a bit of I think it was an ankle maybe. Can't remember. He put his thumbs up to the Fox footy camera.
Hey, boy.
Left ankle.
To
But
the
he
fantasy
had-
fans.
He had 88, thanks to 29 disposals and a goal in that, and playing one of those halfback roles that we just keep seeing.
65%
Yeah.
game time.
Yeah.
But the Cats really, not a lot to write home about. No. Duncan started in the centre bounce, but he didn't have a heap in the end, I don't think. He was just sort of in the mix there early on, so he only had 8 in total out of theirs. But, yeah, you just can't touch him, obviously.
No.
Oliver Dempsey, I don't know if he gets a game, but he is a cheap forward. What are you getting him at? 250 or so, and he had 75 points, 15 touches there, 6 marks, 3
Good stat
tackles,
line.
and a goal.
When it comes to Geelong, you pick as little players as possible unless you are forced otherwise.
Yeah.
And the only one that's sort of forcing me is Tom Stewart. He was pretty quiet though, but I don't think he really cares in a game.
he
like
doesn't
this.
need
to. He doesn't.
I
Jai
like Tom,
Clark.
and then it's Jai Clark. So he had the equal most CBAs with Tanner Braun, but this sort of feels like pre-season 2023.
Yeah. Well,
This year's got to be different, doesn't it?
yeah. So Clark's locked into our side.
Yep.
He did more than enough, and we wanted him since the start of the year. Tom Stewart, you guys have him. That's not enough to change your mind, I don't think, because he's a player
You're probably
who
not
doesn't...
putting him in if you didn't have him, but you're not taking him out if you
I
do
think
have
so.
him.
I
He's one
think
of
that's
those
just...
players.
Yeah. 100% agree.
So out of this, because this is our first game where we do have teams that aren't playing the opening round. Cats, Jai Clark and Tom Stewart, the 2 key players there. Any others? I guess Dempsey's a watch, but we might have enough other forwards.
Probably drafting Homeboy.
Holmesy.
Maybe
Yeah, that would be a nice one.
Going up your draft.
For the Bombers, then Nick Martin is, out of 10, a lock.
Oh, God, I can't elevate him to lock status, but
But
yeah.
out of 10?
Yeah, 8.
8.
Yeah.
Calvin,
Really,
you-
I can't see how I'll move him.
I'm a fan, don't get me wrong, but I'm like a 3 that he'll be in my team. Roy and I need some different players.
Somewhere
at
in the
some point.
fence. I'll give it a 5.
Typical dog.
I'll tell you what, Sardis is in the mix.
Yeah.
Definitely in the mix. I think Reed's a lock for me. I don't think that's changing at this stage unless someone else pops their head up
Yeah.
that might have a little bit better scoring potential. But if you're talking about scoring potential, scoring a 67 is still all right there if he can take those marks that he did. I said Sardis could be a chance there. Dersma was better than I thought he would be, but you're not touching that.
No.
Anyway, that's probably where we're at.
Can I just ask one question?
Yeah, go.
So, what can I do in a situation like this, right? So, I go into the round with Nick Martin.
Yeah.
What do you, I cannot remove him on the back of that performance, can I? You can't have someone in your team, then they rip up like that. What justification would I possibly have to remove him? That's... God, he's out.
They play the first game on Saturday afternoon against Hawthorn.
He's gone.
So you could be watching it. We all know how that goes in round 1 when you're watching the warm-up and see how
God,
that goes.
get him out. Yeah, okay,
Still
fair
have
call.
flashbacks from that, how good Gary Ablett looked in that warm-up that I had.
God, you've done some funny things over the years.
It wasn't good.
Young. That's a great tap. Flying shot.
That is a great tap out.
delightful shot. Perfect palm down to goal.
Port Adelaide and Fremantle, and that was Hayden Young. He was the only docker to score over a ton. 114 he had centre bounces, and he was a lot better than the rest of them because they were very ordinary as a team.
You know
They
what?
actually
5 shots on
scored
goal.
the fewest points in the
God.
competition for the AAMI Community Series.
Okay. And it comes back to the scale, right? Yeah. Port Adelaide are one of the hardest teams. They are red. Red. The Hulk is green, and they are full-blown Hulk red, right? So let's just take that with this as well. Hayden Young, though, he was their number 1 banana.
Yeah.
He went really well.
CBAs.
He was so good.
5 shots on goal, though. That's
Yeah.
what got me. I didn't.
Is that just him
see
pushing
that
forward
coming.
Yes,
because
it
he
is.
had to do that?
He had the
Because-
most set of ounces.
Oh, he's just got a lethal boot. He's
He
just
does.
running forward and
26
Chicken
touches,
snag.
7 tackles.
Jordan Dawson, Is that who he is?
Yeah. Well, definitely. That's a good comparison.
You look at the other scores. So your Brayshaw, 79, meh. Sarong, 85, meh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's against Port Adelaide. Understand that.
Yeah.
All right? My boy, JC, Jordan Clark. I look at his score and go, 81, meh.
Yeah.
But then my eye kicks in.
Yeah.
The eye.
Okay?
Yeah.
The eye talks to me about
Who
the
they
scale
played.
of hardness.
Yeah.
The eye talks to me about how he only had 2 marks.
Yeah.
The eye looks at Luke Ryan, who only had 4.
Yeah.
Okay, the marks weren't there. Why?
No. Port.
The eye said they're playing Port. So I'm happy with that. He's the 3rd highest scorer.
Yeah.
On any other day, that's a 95.
It is.
So
yeah, agree.
where do we sit with Fife? Come on. I need to know
Like
this.
beast.
If you had 26
Beast mode.
disposals, if someone said to me, Fife had 26 disposals, you're getting him under 500k in your forward line where you've got no other players to pick in your forward line, you got to do it. But then you think, oh, he's old. Then you got to think, oh, it was 18 handballs. Oh, it was only 58.
And then, so the marks 2, tackles 1. It's 5. He's not going to be going flat out in a preseason game.
Is that, does he get some form of management, in-game management, at some stage early in the season when you need him?
Well, he won't be pushing through a tweak, will he?
Yep.
He'll
Or
be
a flogging or a,
No.
an
So
absolute domination.
they play Brisbane round 1. They
Yep.
get smacked.
Yeah,
right.
they could be down
They're
by 10
They're
goals.
down by
at
60.
halftime.
And they just go 5. You don't need to be out there. in
Five,
this.
he was a little bit
Off
too
you
busy
come.
there in the middle. You've copped a couple of bumps from the tackling machine that is Dunkley.
Well, he is going to be copping bumps because he's going in that hard.
Yeah.
See, then for when Fife his body is looking that good.
There's confidence in him
You
at
shouldn't
that-
be
yeah.
turning your nose up at him at under 500,000.
He gave away 4 free kicks.
Yeah,
So
so,
there's-
that's a different story.
There's
then,
12
isn't it?
points because if that was a 70, we'd go, yeah, I'm okay
You
with
always
that.
think about when they give away free kicks, it's usually because they've done something like a tackle or
Yeah,
something
yep.
there. You got that on the flip side. 4 is 12.
Yeah.
But then there's probably another 10 points that he could have got from
Yeah.
the other side of
That
that.
could have
that's-
been a thumper. But 58 is the exact number you didn't want it to be, really. I am not sure at the moment.
So we talked about the last game there, Sardis.
yeah.
Who do you like more?
I like Sardis's age
Yeah.
more, but I like Fife's Brownlow.
And I like
Two of
Five's 26 touches. 26 touches.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you looked at
It's massive.
the stat of he had 26 disposals, going,
He was actually a bully out there.
Yep.
Like an absolute big, strong bully. I don't know. I really don't know.
Dockers have been on our radar a fair bit because they did bring in Jeremy Sharp for that wing, and I think he's got that spot. And
Yes,
that
he
was
does.
probably the first question of the preseason.
Yes.
Does he win that? I think he has.
Yeah.
Less than convincing with only 10 touches. He kicked a goal late in the game, which helped him to that 51.
Okay.
If he didn't kick that goal, obviously it would have been less than 51.
He had a 22-point last term.
Is that what it was?
22.
Yeah, right.
I know, dog.
Jeez.
And he had 3 points in the first, Roy. And I was looking at it going, you can't have him on field.
But it was Port
It
Adelaide.
was Port Adelaide. Yes, good, well done, dog. Your eye is growing. So, yeah, that's a concern. It is a concern. I think we all still need him in our team. It's where you have him on your field
Yeah.
or bench.
Can you? Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this was where I first really looked at the shuffle of going, maybe just 2 midfielders,
did
because
you?
I've been
Big on
not
3.
big on 3. I just haven't been bothered changing it, to be honest, and looked too deeply outside of that. But I was probably always going in thinking I'm going 3. But
Yeah.
this is where my little eyes pricked up and go, maybe we need to go down to 2.
Oh,
But there are
dog.
some options
So
there.
you look at Sharpie, though.
Growl at me for that all preseason.
So Sharpie plays Brisbane round 1.
You think everything's a growl at you when it's just
no,
not doing the same
you
thing
get
as
angry.
Just listen.
You get angry, dog.
The eye, right? The eye speaking. Now, Freo played Brisbane round 1. Okay?
Yes, correct.
In the
Your eye is good.
yeah, the wingman
Yes.
against Brisbane in the AAMI game, James Jordan,
Oh,
119. Who else was there that was out on the wing? Errol.
So you're going to use this off all that data.
No, I'm just
Your
saying.
eye is so good.
I'm just saying. He could come out. He could come out and shock us.
AAMI Community Series game at Blacktown that was delayed because there was a snake on the ground and the power went out.
I think you need some eye drops. They're drying up. They're drying up.
We haven't talked about Port Adelaide yet, and
Right.
we don't want to offend the Port Adelaide supporters because they get a little bit crabby if we don't give them the love that they need.
Dog-like.
But a defender, another one, or a couple of them, Ryan Burton, 125, 13 marks. They're just back there doing that.
Yeah,
Dan Houston had 8 marks with 114 points. Farrell even played in defence with 10 marks. Like, they just...
Racked up.
Are Dockers going to be that bad that they could be one of the green teams on the scale?
100%.
They could be. But defenders, as we've seen across... And is this an AAMI Community Series thing where there are...
Yeah,
I think,
a little bit bruise-free.
Yeah, more uncontested marks floating around.
Anyway, so some of those guys there, like Burton is cheap, isn't he? I think.
Yeah.
He's actually
Good.
579k.
I always end up drafting Birdo. And finds a way to disappoint, though, so don't go all in on him.
Probably the big one, Roy. You've been hot on having both.
Yes.
The big boys in the midfield, and that is Connor Rozee and Zachary Butters. And we'll talk Butters because he went off with a bit of an ankle tweak on 11 points early in the first quarter.
So to start the preseason, he was my underpriced premium midfielder, the one to watch and lock in. There's always the concern with Port Adelaide's game style and their, the lack of stoppages they have compared to other teams, which makes it hard for these midfielders to pump out, big hundreds consistently. Obviously, Rozee and Butters have shown an ability to do that anyway. And then there's they've got a decent ruckman in there now. So would they maybe, be warm to the idea of having more stoppages? So there's all these things in play, Dog. But that ankle tweak this late in the preseason, is that enough to go... I think it's enough for me to go 2 of them is too many.
Yeah. And Rozee did say that he'd done it a couple of weeks before. That was the other thing that would be the concern about it.
And it's done it again.
He doesn't play for nearly 2 weeks. That's long enough to get over what was I'm going to call it a minor ankle twist.
All right. On top of that, do you think he seemed to be playing a little more forward than last year?
We saw him for 9% of the game. It was a bit hard to judge. He got to 11 points. He had a few disposals and a tackle in that.
God, was he out of it that early, was he?
Yeah, it was real early. The other thing about the ankle tweak, Roy, and you'll be, up to date with ankle tweaks.
Yes.
He didn't tread on anyone's foot.
No.
It was what I call a directional change tweak.
Yep.
Right? And it didn't look strapped.
Yeah, he didn't strap his ankle.
Yeah, it went over a little bit easy for my liking.
Yeah.
So if
It used to be
here's the thing,
compulsory thing.
if there was a grand final tomorrow, would he be able to play?
I would think so.
Yes, he could play. So he went off, iced it, precautionary. He's going to be 100% fine. He'll be training at the end of the week. So I don't think we need to jump off it so quickly.
Well, I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just chill your.
I only want one of them now. That's what I'm thinking.
Because there's Wines there as well, and he was good.
This is
27 touches, 95 points, and then even Hornbag, 26 touches, 91 points.
I've been looking for an excuse to get one of them out since that Wines
And then it's
moved to the midfield.
The more value one that you're getting out.
Yeah. Yeah. So Wines...
So you still got Rozee then?
Yeah, I've still got Rozee. I still like having one of them. But Wines, is he the one that you want? Like, for his price... He was bulk CBA.
He was.
And he scored 95. He looked good. 27 touches.
700k.
Yeah. Like, it's way too cheap for how good he is in that role.
M5 or an M6.
I know.
He's cheaper than Matt Crouch.
Yeah.
So, like, is there a world where you can... Like, you should be putting those two together, realistically. It can't fail. Crouch and Wines.
Yeah.
They're both so underpriced.
They are.
They're both members of the Warthogs at the moment.
Are they?
Yeah, 5 and 6.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Wow.
Wines, I don't like picking Wines for some reason, but it's there to be done.
I did see someone say, we're all looking at Winesy at 700. What about Horn Francis at 614?
Come on.
But seriously.
No, dog, we did this last year.
What is he? Is this his 3rd year now?
Yeah.
Even though Wines had a bad year last year, he wasn't pumping 30s like Horn Francis.
Exactly. You can't.
That 30.
Yep.
His ability to come off a really good week and then come up with 30 the next week.
Oh, we know.
So, but we also got to look at this and go, well, Wines and Hornbag's scores here could be slightly inflated because they play Freo, and also the Butters went off so
Butters
early.
out.
Yeah, but I mean, Hinkley tells the truth more often than not.
He does.
He said Wines is now basically number one banana.
Yep. Agree.
He's back. He's backing him in, isn't he?
He
the
is.
way that he's talking about him as well.
Yeah.
He's like going, it's almost a little bit backhanded about how bad he was last
Yeah,
year.
yeah, true.
But then he's taken ownership as well.
Yeah.
Going, we've got to get him back in
Wines,
the midfield.
he looked a bit up and about too. He looked himself again.
He did.
Like,
As for the ruck battle,
Oh, yeah.
Soldo 60% time on ground.
Which
Saweetie-
Soldo kicked the first goal of the game, which coincided with our Bacon Cup draft. Didn't you draft him?
I did.
Did you draft him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he kicked that first goal. Is that why?
Oh, I didn't even realise.
I thought, that was, he's looking at the fantasy scores.
No, I didn't have the game on actually.
Grabbed
Oh well, that was clever though.
Very clever.
What did
Because I was looking at the same for the next pick.
Oh, yeah. No, that's funny. I didn't even realise I'd done that. But I thought is number one ruck now. I didn't think Sweetie would be getting a game round one. That's why I did it, because remember Soldo's numbers as solo ruck at Richmond are epic. So that's what I was thinking. But then we saw Sweetie, his points per minute were outstanding.
Yeah.
There could be a battle throughout the whole year of these two. Like, I don't think you're locked in that one of them, that Soldo is there for the year as the number one ruck. It might be.
Okay.
And I know for a fact
Some draft handcuffing should
they,
go on.
yeah, they actually don't like each other. Pretty sure I heard that somewhere along the line.
They probably didn't spend much time on ground together.
No.
Out there.
No. So what are we thinking? Is Soldo
I think Soldo is.
the man?
Yeah.
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 But who knows? And the other one is Cal missing Sindez Moses.
Yes, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there, so cross him off your list.
Already 13 disposals today and a goal. Perfect view over his shoulder. And a precision kick from the highly skilled number 23. And he is very, very happy with that.
That number 23 was Isaac Rankin, who did start at the first CBA. He had a big game, 109 points. 4 goals definitely helped that there. It wasn't all about the CBAs in the end.
No,
because
he's a jet though, isn't he?
He is a jet. Like him as a forward option.
59% game time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Draft only. I'm going to hide behind that.
Yeah. I'd like to pick him in draft.
I'd like to think that he's a good idea, but I just think it's,
Fair.
There it is. But that midfield time, it is the 3 bananas are Dawson, Laird and Crouch. Now, how much are we going to read into these scores?
Right, because they're managed. So Matt
100%
Crouch,
they're managed. Matt was managed.
Matt was managed with 59% game time, right? You don't need to look at their scores.
So he still had 25 disposals.
Dawson,
No, 23
66% game time. They managed the bananas.
Yeah.
Right?
What about Lairdy?
Lairdy, 72%. Okay, so he probably played a little bit more.
Handball happy.
Yep.
So Matt Crouch though, 59%. That's only 11% more than he maxes out at in proper games anyway.
Yeah, potentially.
He's never a high time on ground guy.
Yeah. I just don't think they've really turned up to beat the Eagles here. Look, they've thumped them by,
it easy.
Well, they did them by 10 goals.
Yeah.
So I don't think they tried overly too much, except for Sam Berry.
He needs
He
to.
needs to try.
yeah.
So he was awesome. 22 touches, 7 tackles, couple of goals, 108.
So we saw the news about Laird being flagged as playing more off the half forward.
Yeah.
What did we see?
happen.
Didn't happen?
No.
He's the mid.
In that. I didn't catch heaps of this because I was setting up for our live
call.
But yeah, he was still Lairdy,
Yeah.
doing Lairdy things.
Okay.
He had the most CBAs of the midfielders.
Right,
And
so-
Crouch was up there too. He was the second
Yeah.
most.
Are you two? Do you have Laird in your teams at the moment?
Laird may have been removed after that game from my team.
Oh, was he?
He's in the mix still,
After
though.
you just talked him.
No, he's
up.
still in the mix.
Roy?
Yeah, he's in my team.
You'd be an idiot if you didn't, dog.
Yeah, no, he's probably coming back.
Right. Fix it. There's nothing to look at. Laird's one of those Swanee type players here. He knows he's better than the game. He knows he's better than every single person on the Eagles list.
Yeah.
He's not turning up for this.
No.
The cross off the list dude, Cal, it's Dan Curtin.
Yeah, apparently he was available but wasn't picked. But then I also read along the line that he has basically had a bruised knee or something like that, and they've managed him over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
So he won't play round 1.
No, it hasn't been a good preseason for him, really, has it?
So he probably comes back through the Magoos.
Now, Riley O'Brien had 118, 34 hit-outs. He's had a big day there because he's had 22 touches and 6 marks.
Yeah.
Wasn't up against a lot, though. So West Coast lost Flynn, and, geez, Williams. I thought, Cow, you've got to grab him because you picked up Flynn a day before or a few hours before he got injured, or it was named that he was out. He was no good. 21 points he had. 14 of those points came from hit-outs, and that was from 74% time on ground.
Tim English plays West Coast in round 3. Right? Oh. Last year against West Coast, he had 140 plus.
I'm not surprised. Like, Jamo was their best ruckman.
They were the easiest.
Remember the Jamo days?
Yep.
Cow remembers the
They
Jamo
were the
days.
easiest team for ruckers to score against last year, and that just is the icing.
They're like my keeper league. They legit don't have one. They're just rolling out without one.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'm cooked.
Next on the table for you.
Yeah, and do you know what? I've been drafting basically to put packages together.
Right, to try to
see if anyone
find some
wants.
forwards. Or, no, I will be hunting for a decent mid, actually. That's where I'm looking for, because you've got
I'm inundated.
plethora of midfielders.
I can help you out.
I've been keeping a close eye on that. Right, West Coast, no issues with locking in Elliott. Yo.
It was good. Third highest scorer, 81, 9 tackles.
9 tackles.
9 tackles.
Just
He's
did.
a midfielder too. That's the thing. That role is going to be there for him. Tim Kelly as well. There's a draft one for you. That has upside, I think, of where his average point is at for your draft leagues when you're doing that. We all backflipped on Harley Reid. Roy, you took him out of your team?
Hey, I do silly
Pre-season
things.
rocket?
When I need an extra 15k or something, he'd go down to Windsor. But I called it a pre-season rocket dog, as I've been called out for before on Twitter. I'll find any excuse to.
So Harley Reid had 73 points. That was 20 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles. He's fine.
Responded to the rocket.
He was one of the bananas in there with Yo and Kelly.
Yeah. No,
Very good.
So we're starting him on the ground, aren't we?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But we've got to be aware that the Eagles are going to cop some floggings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
they're just going to get him behind the ball when they're getting flogged. aren't
Even
they?
And
in
they'll
that
do that.
game there, they only had one player over 85.
Yeah.
So expect not great scores from time to
Okay.
time.
Good eye. Cal.
Yep, great eye.
Yeah. Anyone else worth talking about from this game?
Brady Hoff, 75. Hoffy was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the improve.
Draft if you want him.
Maybe your bench ruck could be Harry Barnett.
Look, he popped his head in, didn't he?
He played a third of the game.
Yeah, scored 11.
But he's either one because surely West Coast are playing a lot of Sunday games and he's got the ruck forward status.
I am looking more into that. Yeah, that's my job today.
It's been your job for months now.
He scored 11 with 10 hit-outs.
And he had 2 handballs.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Little 1-2, Bontempelli, he's still got speed to burn even though it's a practice game. And the cream rising to the top early in March for the Bulldogs.
Even though it was a practice game, geez, that felt a bit lacklustre for a
Didn't
practice
it?
match.
I was
73.
hot on Frosty early, Roy. I've just gone cold since.
Bond!
He's chasing highlights now.
Bond!
Oh,
No
my
poster
goodness
there,
me.
boys.
That was straight through the high.
Get him off!
Get him off, Bevo.
And they do. Thank you, Bevo.
So if the Fox Footy commentators want a hand with any stuff, that's how you call a pre-season goal from
Speed to
Bond.
burn, cup of coffee cream, please.
Cream rose to the top there.
Bond! Okay, let's talk Bond. 127.
Calvinator,
Right.
you've been hot on
Spend
Bond.
up.
Look, I'm not... How can you not be hot on Bond? He's worth over $1 million, but he was...
Calvin 101.
He didn't try. He did not break a sweat.
Sometimes preseason games, like, why would you go to them? How boring.
Yep.
But watching him anywhere, anytime, you could watch him clean his teeth.
Yep.
Sure, he does that well.
He would.
He just looked a class above, didn't he? Especially in the third quarter where he turned it up a notch. It was just like maybe he is worth spending up for.
52 points in the quarter. 32
It was nuts, wasn't it?
It was good to watch, and he just looks like such a massive beast of a man out there.
Yep.
He's big. Brownlow Bond.
As we said
Get on it.
in the call, back in our day, he would have been a traditional centre-half forward. Big fella's running around in the guts.
So he's in the guts
dominating.
there. He's in there with Libba, who was very good. I think he's someone that's got some upside as well because he's got that concussion score in his average. But 105, 30 touches, had 7 tackles, just Libba doing Libba things.
Yeah.
English as well. Obviously mention him, just a machine.
Yeah.
111.
Just doing it again, isn't he?
But the midfield had a couple of little bananas in there. Treloar's probably the third one.
He is.
And then they got some sort of some part-time players in the sense going through there later in the game. Like Harmsy was one of them, Roy, that you had your eyes on pretty closely.
Yeah, I think he was worth tracking all pre-season, and I think the role's there, to be honest. So he's still one that you would launch into late in a draft with confidence, but I don't think he's quite cheap enough to force his way into our teams.
Now, Riley Sanders, we were obviously here to watch, and we're not at all let down by that. 30 disposals he had, 4 tackles, 1 mark, and 92 fantasy points. Now, he didn't have a centre bounce, was it? Not one at all. So he's playing off the half forward, which means we could get him DPP as well after round 6.
There we go.
This is the thing.
Yes.
So this is what I find amazing with Sando in that role, that half-forward role. He wasn't sulking in that role like we see from a certain other dog when he has to start there.
Yep.
His hunger for the pill did not change.
No.
He was amazing out there.
Yep.
Like, you think about, would McRae bump him out of that spot
No.
when he's fit?
No.
No? He wouldn't, would he?
No chance.
No, it was unbelievable. So, yeah, Dog, DPP's in play with him.
It is. So, Bulldogs there had a couple of rookies or rookie-priced-ish players. Caulfield, we were watching him pretty closely. He had 13 kicks, 1 handball. Good work with your kick-to-handball ratio. And took 6 marks in there as well. 59 points. Were you turned off by that? Or
We actually said we wanted 60.
I know.
And we rounded it up
so close.
to 62 because he took a mark just before the siren and his kick back to the umpire didn't count. So he actually got 62.
He got 62.
Right.
So he got 62.
Tick then.
So we're happy with it.
I'm happy with that.
What got us over the line, apart from the 62 roundup, was don't hassle the cough swag.
Oh, yeah.
His swaggy walk. We paid close attention to the way he was strutting around the ground. He feels like he's been there a long time. He was at home at the Dogs, and I think his strut gets him over the line for me.
Agreed.
Loves the kennel.
Now, one we need to talk about, Dog, is Caleb Daniel.
Right.
Oh,
So I did flag that.
you did.
So-
and this is where I pushed against you for this one, and now I think you're spot on.
Rode the pine.
Yep,
the
without
first
his
half.
helmet on. We couldn't recognise him.
Unrecognisable.
I
Right?
think he had his T-shirt with his name on the back.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
I can't read. And then, after half-time,
Your eye wasn't on for
on
that.
goes the lid. The lid goes on, and out goes Small Potato, running out onto the ground.
Yeah.
So the question is, Dog, is the Small Potato in their plans?
Is it a bit of a rocket? Is it really what it's looking like? Because Jack McRae probably comes back
So
in.
what made you think that he wasn't in the
Yeah.
plans?
I read an article about it, which I did mention. I said that. And you still didn't believe me.
Because I shut off at that point. I was like, there's no way. The Small Potato has to be there.
Look, the penny really dropped for me when I saw him after the game doing the
The run of shame.
the run of shame. There's kids doing kick to kick, and Caleb, I could hardly pick him out between the lot of them, except he was a little bit quicker, going from the edge of the square to the edge of the square.
Yeah.
Getting in the way of all the
The
kids.
kids are going, get out of my way.
Yeah, he couldn't even
Someone
take
control their kid.
couldn't even take a grab amongst the grade sixes out there. But that was when I thought, Dog, you're spot on here.
Yeah.
This guy is pushing for a spot. They flagged that Ballarat games early.
Yep.
He's like he's useless in that anyway.
I wonder if they actually look at stats on players, like in their...
Have they talked about
Have
that
they talked
once?
Of course they have.
They go, Caleb, what happens to you in Ballarat?
Can we play you there?
Yeah. And he's like, don't.
No, I don't know. But I'll tell you what. Did you watch his sprints?
Yeah.
They were quick.
Yeah.
Credit where credit's due. He was flying through there.
He knew
For
people
Footscray
were
in the VFL. Right, let's talk about Hawthorn. Joy, the Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
127 points he had there.
An option.
Yeah, and I think he's sort of been flagged a little bit. It's been one of those ones I'm probably too scared to go for.
Yes.
But I think that he has the 105 year. I think someone actually tweeted that in.
Yeah.
I think that could be his thing this year.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Funny thing is,
Looks
you said
very
about
You
it.
get him at a pretty good price, too.
You do. Like, Roy, you said the tackle count. Like, he only had 3. You'd think the Nuke would make a score like that with tackles.
His
Not-
game's changed.
not
though.
9 marks.
Significantly. He earned his way into the team through his tackle pressure. The dude can lay up to 16. He's like elite at it, but he's obviously become a more marking accumulator.
No one on the ground had more marks than him.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is.
Speaking of marks, Roy, Carl Amon.
Carl.
He only had 4.
Yep.
But
A
had
concern?
94
I
points.
expected more, and that was 3 in the last quarter.
94 he got 2, though.
Yeah, so they started off, as we spoke about once again in the call, keeping a happy team at Hawthorn, and they legit were sharing their kick-outs, taking one at a time. But as the game went on, Kyle started to...
This is my square.
He even pushed Sick Dog out of the square at one stage.
Sick Dog didn't like that either.
No, he did not.
He had 8 kick-ins, 7 played on. That one that he didn't play on, come on, mate.
Yeah, so Carl is definitely still an option. I just, in that game, especially given they played the Dogs, I was expecting 7 or 8 marks from him.
Yep.
So we had our 2 C-Max. Connor McDonald, 81. He kicked 2 goals for that. Don't think he's really an option because Cam McKenzie's a lot cheaper with the forward status too. He kicked a goal, but he had 19 disposals and 5 marks for 76. Played the wing.
He did.
That was pretty much his role.
It was.
And we watched him carefully. And are you keen on him with a 4 in front of his name?
I think he's in
way
that,
better than that.
He's in that group, isn't he?
He
With
is.
your Sardis, your Fifes, your all that sort of crew. So I don't know where he fits.
No, we really need to rank those guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know what more insight we can possibly get to help us do that. But so he, as you said, Dog, he had that wing for 3 quarters. The second quarter's the one where they gave him CBAs. He actually got a few then, and he looked really good when he was getting those. But, like you guys said, one to watch, still very tempting.
Huswaite was good, but he's a straight midfielder, 429K. I don't think we're going there, are we?
No.
No.
We've got Ethan Phillips, obviously, to talk about. I think he's my D8 now. I think he's going to be playing. He wasn't too bad there. He had 6 marks, so that was positive. They used him a couple of times there. Got burned a couple of times too. He wanted the ball a couple of times out of the back line. So if they can use him a little bit more, but as your D8, you're probably just throwing it in a way. You're just hoping there is some sort of cash generation or cover there.
Well, he didn't score much less than Sick Dog.
No.
So, Sick Dog Cow.
You got to cross him well and truly off your list, old dog.
You need to talk to your brother about that. Draft him in the first round.
Yeah, because he wouldn't understand. He's stupid.
Finn didn't do much, which was good.
No, he didn't. No. So he was actually on...
he went to Libba for a little bit, I think.
Wakefield.
He was on Wakefield.
If you want to go back and have a listen to our call, it is in our podcast feed. Wakefield.
Yeah.
And I don't reckon you genuinely knew you stuffed that up there.
No, I didn't know.
It was 8 cans in minimum by that point.
I weren't even drinking. The one negative on Phillips was he was actually on Ugle-Hagen.
Oh, Yugi looked great.
Oh, well, that was the thing.
Cow's
The
eye.
Bulldogs, we got a bit excited
That's a
about the
negative.
Bulldogs forward line with Ugle-Hagen and Astronaut. They were
flying.
both epic, but you do know as well, this Hawthorn backline is depleted. And that's why he has to play, I think.
I think he does.
And he's just there, and you'll get some points just because the ball's going to be back there.
Yeah,
Someone
true.
will give away a free kick and he'll get a free one or something like that. Anyway, that was Hawthorn and the Western Bulldogs. As I said, go and have a listen to the call in our podcast feed. It was a lot of fun doing that.
He'll give the handball off to Bonner. That boundary side on his left boot, but he's given it a right. Maybe Henry knew more than us. Riley Bonner's got his first.
He was good. Riley Bonner.
Again.
104, 30
you know
disposals, 7 marks. These halfbacks, it's what it's all about in the AAMI
Bonner-
Community Series.
Bonner hasn't trained with me all year.
No.
All pre-season. Hasn't turned up to training.
No.
He got an invite the other day.
Did he?
This is
got
where
an
we
invite.
do silly things.
I know, but Roy,
463K.
463K.
Mid only though, isn't he?
Yes. But if I can get a rookie off and him on,
Well, 100%.
So you'd have to be your 6 then.
he would have to be my 6. 30 touches.
So, Dog, for you, for example, here,
With DPP incoming.
Well, yeah. So you've got Wines in your midfield.
Yeah.
You could shave a heap of money there and get someone like Bonner. Could you take that risk?
You could. I guess there's a few little things happening here. Now, this is out of this game. It's probably worth talking about it now. You've got Dougal Howard who did his hammy.
Yeah.
You've also got Jimmy Webster that did a dumb thing. Very dumb thing. And he'll be gone for quite a few weeks, I reckon. But that is, there's going to be some change. Sinclair has to come back in.
It does.
They've got a couple of midfielders to come back in as well. Like
Sinclair won't be there round
Crouch.
1. Yes.
No, it sounded like that. Yeah, Sinclair, they'd be working towards round 2. But, yes, you could do it. I think you could. He looked good.
He looked very good.
And he's one of those dudes that, like, I felt like he's a Jaden Short type player that half-back, rebounding, but rebounds up the field. Because he kicked a snag, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Like, he's that guy that has the big super boot to go up there and do that with.
So he's shown an ability to score in the past, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Was it his junior days?
He's been someone we've talked about.
He has.
At some point. We've talked a lot of names over the last 18 years of doing this.
This is true.
But you're spot on. How reactionary do I be to someone that hasn't been to training yet?
It's back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
The role is there, and they were using his boot.
So I think if I've got extra cash that I can't put
Because you've got three...
I do. 3 rooks in the midfield.
So you could
again.
get someone, the equivalent of Sharpie.
To someone like this, I guess.
Yeah.
Who else we have there? Machito was good, 103.
Oh, he's just going to be a good
draft
player.
only.
Just a very good player.
Yeah.
Rowan Marshall, solid 100. Just did his thing, didn't he?
Didn't get a lot of hit-outs there because he was dominated by
He was beaten by the ex-area. We'll talk about that in a second. Wangman Miller, good.
Yeah.
Who?
Wanganeen Miller, Darcy Wilson.
Yeah, lock and load and put him on your field.
Put him on your field.
F6. Done. He's going to be
97.
playing on their wing and he will get enough of the ball. Yes, they played North Melbourne, but
10 marks.
10 marks.
yeah, what a great game. Happy with Jack Steele with his 93.
Right, are you guys happy with that?
I haven't seen this game. I need to go back and watch the replay. What did he look like?
Well, people have said the 9 tackles was enough.
Right.
Yeah. And 21 disposals, 16 of those were handballs. That's an issue, but that's what you get when you're inside there doing that sometimes. But, I'm okay with it.
I like Jack having a more balanced line, to be honest. I like him to be getting 6 marks. There was a lot of marks
6
to
marks,
go
a lot
around.
of tackles.
Yeah, there was a lot of marks going around, and he was not amongst
But
it.
is he in that position now of being on that good that I don't need to try
Possibly.
the season?
Or is he like everyone else can take the marks in this team, I just trot to the next stoppage again?
Yeah, because that's
That
what he was
mode.
doing.
He was.
That's what he was doing last year.
That was my concern.
I didn't see a thirsty Jack.
Points did flow there for the Saints. They had a few in there. They ranked 7th for points for, but they had 4 players score a ton. And quite a few there in the 90s. Ari Schoenmaker, 83. He took 11 marks, so that was the top on the ground. I was surprised that he played, to be honest.
Same.
And he was in there, and he could now find himself a spot in there for round 1.
Now,
but he's the first one out, though, if
Agreed.
he does play round 1. Like, that's where you could have him as your D8, your date there.
Yep.
But I'm not sure if you could... He could be out after 1 week.
and then you
Could,
just got
but you think about this. We're talking about a rookie who's come in and taken 11 marks. Surely if they're using him like that,
and they're just looking for him.
he's not going. He might hang around.
And if he hangs around
200k,
scoring 83 each week like this,
like that's
That's making
ridiculous.
some coin.
he's going up big time. I don't think I'm going to go there.
Who's the Hawthorn one? We've got Phillips there.
Phillips.
God,
Job security is the reason for him, I guess.
So it's job security versus scoring potential.
Yeah. But we don't all get to play North Melbourne each week.
No,
either.
we don't.
So for North Melbourne, Zach Fisher was a secret, and now he scores 114.
That's another...
36 disposals and 6 marks there.
Look, we know it wasn't a secret, but he did too much, way too much.
There was people still on the fence.
Dog was on the fence.
No fence anymore, is there?
Dog was on the fence. Weren't you, Dog?
No, I was probably the most all in on him.
Dog, you were all like, hamstring, bit dodgy.
Yeah, well, that's the flag. Because part of this, you do have to think about more than just all the upside and
Challenge.
all the heavenly things that you can have in this. You do have to consider that sometimes, Calvin.
Look, 36 touches.
It's not all bloody Skittles and rainbows,
And eyes.
as we all know when we get to round one, because all these big calls that we make all come crashing down.
Oh, really, dog? Really?
Really.
Well, so far the calls
So your
have been-
definition of rarely is different to most other people's as well.
So
I find something to hide behind.
he's a lock. Now, Roy, you're Harry Sheasel.
Yes.
32 touches, 107.
But when did he do it?
When did he do it?
Did it all late?
Must have been late as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Is that
I
a
was-
concern?
Yeah, but like I said, I need to see it with my own eye because I wasn't watching it, but I was receiving feedback about are we going cold on the Shees, and I checked his score and I was like, damn, why is that happening? Then I looked at the end and I'm like, nah, Shees is all good. So I will be watching closely.
Next on the list there is your boy dog, Charlie Lazaro.
Yeah.
80 points.
Secret, you actually poo-pooed this a lot.
I did,
during the
yes.
pre-season.
And that's the difference between you and
And
me.
is he in your town?
Fully
town
crapped on.
team?
He's in my town and in my team, dog. At least I can acknowledge when I'm wrong. Not you, Mr. High Almighty,
But I'm
never
never
make
wrong.
a mistake. I know you're not.
21 disposals he had and 4 marks, 5 tackles. So a nice sort of little stat line there. Yeah,
Okay, so
he's in their team, which is what the number one thing was for him at 288.
288. So he had 28% of the centre bounces, but he was the 5th most used, and that was behind Wardlaw, LD Spew, we'll get to him in a minute, Phillips and Powell. So he was the 5th one.
Yeah.
The 5th banana, Roy.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really matters.
No.
So did Jai Simpkin, not that he's necessarily a full-blown centre bounce guy because he's going to be a bit part player this year, but that may have helped him a little bit there with game time,
Potentially,
let
yes.
alone that.
Yeah, less
Similar sort of...
vest risk. Like
Yeah.
he's another spot up the pecking order now.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about LD Spew when we're talking about these centre bounces, Cal? 38 he had.
What?
14 touches.
What's he doing?
Not disposals,
Not playing
not
fantasy.
centre bounces, Roy. He had 38 points. 14
I know there's-
disposals.
There's coaches who have him sitting
Yeah.
there. You have
He's
to be
out.
reactionary.
He's
oh,
out.
really?
Oh, that's a reactionary one. That's gone. Like, you
I
can't
would
pick
too.
a guy. Yeah. I don't know
God.
how many players could have scored that I'd keep in my team.
No.
Even
What?
rookies don't stay in for that.
No, they don't. That is really bad.
He only outscored Toby Pinkeye by 10.
He can't go out thinking he's all Swanee, not caring.
That's not even turning up.
I can see that he's going to throw this all in our faces.
Look, he did
big
last
time.
pre-season, didn't
100%
he?
he will.
He did this last pre-season.
Did he? Yeah.
Yep,
He'll come out with a good 100.
he will.
Right. Who else do we want to talk about? Well, ex-Airy. Let's talk there then.
All right.
So 68 points for him. He had 16 touches. 12 of them were handballs. So that's interesting because where he was getting it, essentially.
Yeah.
Only the 1 mark, 1 tackle and 31 hit-outs because that was massive over Rowan Marshall's 12. Was supported there by Cal Coleman-Jones for a bit.
Okay. X-Man. He gave away 4 free kicks.
Yep.
He received 5. Right?
Yep.
They were just bashing each other up in there. Marshall last year was the 5th hardest ruck to score against.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting a point per minute X-Airy like we've seen before, Roy.
Yes.
I've seen enough. I'm okay with that.
So I haven't got any eye test to go with.
Yep.
So this is all stats based for me in my summary. So like you, I'm looking it's against Rowan Marshall.
Yep.
So expectations are brought right down. 31 hit-outs. If he's getting a head start 30 points a game through hit-outs, I'm happy with that. And then I look at his mark count and his tackle count. He's someone who not only takes a few marks, but his tackle game in the stoppages is really strong.
Yep.
So he's obviously not done that in this preseason hit-out.
Yep.
He is fine. This is a perfect number. I didn't want him to come out and get 95, 100 because his ownership will soar.
So he's priced at 64.
Yeah.
And he got half of that in hit-outs.
Yeah.
Nearly.
He's fine. So
I'm okay with it.
So he made his break even.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
okay
no
with that.
disaster.
In a game where they got done by 20 and you're up against one of the hardest players in the league.
Yeah. I'm
So-
fine with it.
I didn't like Coleman Jones popping in his head in there for a bit, so I wonder where he fits.
Like, before we started the show, Warnie said he'll play forward for him, and that is right. So that's where the chop-outs are coming from. So that's fine.
Yep. So, yeah, we're okay with that. Now, Colby was good. He had a 63. He went at 20 points a quarter after only having a handball in the first. So it's a bit of a slow start.
Yeah.
But basically 60 points from then on.
He's fine.
He could be that. Well, yeah.
Did he play off half-back again?
He did, and they weren't really giving him the ball that he was calling for.
Yeah.
So, and their skills were pretty average, to be honest, at the start. So, missing targets. They were trying to play Roo ball, Roy.
Yeah. Yes. What's that?
North ball.
North ball, is it?
Yeah. Oh, Roonuts.
Roonuts. They were trying to play Roonut ball, but they just missing handballs, missing their targets. So, I think he'll be better than that.
Okay.
There you go, Dom.
All right. We got through them.
Got through them.
That's the 9 games. Big podcast. There you go.
So
hopefully that gives you a bit to consume and think about.
Summing it all up, like I think bar a couple, which I didn't realise, Dog, your Davies Uniacke, I think what's different this pre-season and the community series compared to the last couple for us, we actually haven't been too reactionary because I think all 90% of the guys that we've been hot on and put in actually went well.
The list of 40 or so that we've probably got really in that short list have all done most of them performed how we want them to and hasn't really changed our minds too massively. Yeah, LDU is probably the only real big one for me.
Yeah.
A couple of players have probably put their hand up that might deserve an extra little SSP spot. Might have been this last week.
Yeah, for sure. Who would that be? Who hasn't really been training but you'll now...
Is it like when you're looking at how you would consider a Bonner?
Yes.
Asadis hasn't totally been there for me, but he could be. Like is he the option?
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie sort of floated in and out, I guess, during the pre-season.
I think Bonner is the poster child of this then.
Yeah.
This has brought us undone in the past, jumping on someone this late, but he seems to have ticked so many boxes.
The other one, yeah.
So can we do this, or do we have to keep it in the squad that we had?
I want to keep it in the squad with the structure as such.
Yes.
But I don't know. The other thing is, like, there's a couple, like Cow, you've got hot on Goulden to start there. So that's
you can't say hot on someone that averaged 112.
No, but we've gone pretty strong of thinking we wouldn't start someone like that. This year.
Oh, 100% agree.
Yeah.
But I'm just starting to see. I think part of this for me is I get my captain hat on.
Yeah.
And I get excited about my captains. And last year...
Because you get that right every week.
Well, last year my captain started with a 57. I just like the fact that we've got a guy there sitting right in front of us that can turn up 140s.
Yeah.
And I think he can get a couple in the first 4 weeks.
Same. I agree.
And if he does, then that would be a knockout pick.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer. And you know me, dog. Knock him out of the park.
Changing the game.
Changing the game, hitting sixes.
That's what it's all about. All right. Well, thanks very much for tuning in. We'll be back on Thursday for a bit of a preview of the opening round because what to watch for, what we're looking at. We'll answer a few questions as well in that podcast. So we'll put out a bit of a call out on social to get some questions in. Then we watch that. Then we'll wrap it up. And we're in lockout week, and we are getting there. So if you haven't already, fantasy.afl.com.au, get your league set up, get your mates all playing, and get ready for what's going to be an epic year of AFL fantasy football. The prizes have been announced. The Toyota Hilux is there.
Yes, come on.
To $70K worth of that and plenty of other prizes. You can click on the prizes tab to go and find that out. We're pumped. We're excited. And hopefully you are too. Little changing of our teams from here, boys.
Yeah. Come on.
Be strong. Be the judge of that.
What was it? Used to be Stay Strong JLT.
Stay Strong opening round.
Oh, no.
Tummy